Hi, folks. How are you all going? You must have heard the news of Putin, Xi Jinping, and Modi meeting in Shanghai. The venue is Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Are good or bad? What you have to think the impact this meeting can create if seen in a different dilemma and paradigm. India and China has got border disputes. Russia currently is having conflict with Ukraine. US tariffs are creating trouble to China and to India because of their link to with Russia. What we have to understand that the world has been drawn and created, countries created by Europe. They drew the lines and created the countries since 1900s, or mid 1900s, I would say. They made a country anywhere they wanted, the lines they wanted, they put the lines and say this is this country and this is this country and this is this country, without considering the population, ethnicity, and the cultural background of the people living there. They just built it on their own. Why on their own? Because there were benefits. These countries, the demarcations of countries was done so that they can have the financial benefits and their power remains. Somehow or the other, Russia was never considered as Europe by Europeans, or they considered it as their backyard, not very keen or interested. And that became more powerfully understood when Russia became communist country. It must be understood both the world wars were won by Europe and America with the help of Russia. Had Russia not got involved, the world map would have been different. The country's demarcation would have been different. But anyway, the demarcation is there. They just put one line without consideration. Like between India and China, they made a McMahon line. The guy had no understanding of the cultures and ethnicity and the relationships between the party, between the people and their neighbors. Then became Pakistan, India and Pakistan. So the line divided the Tibet, China, Pakistan, India, Myanmar, and nowadays Bangladesh. The line was demarked. Well, China was under serious pressure and was basically ruined by the opium war with UK and Japanese. When communism came to China, they had to struggle and to stand on its own. But because they were Chinese organization, communist organizations in China running the country, they had to find constraint. All the European countries, they put constraints on it. No trade All type of trade barriers were there. No help, no needs, nothing. But somehow or the other, with the foresight of the Politburo and its leaders of China, China it is what it is. Most probably you do not know yourself, many of you. China is at least 30 years ahead of even US, where the infrastructure and facilities and look after its own population is concerned. India will be at least 50 years behind. Now, at currently, China is still under constraints and having tariff issues with Russia, with China, with USA. India is having the same problem. The summit which is happening in Shanghai now can help resolve very many issues for these countries if they change the paradigm thinking. They still think in terms of the old original thoughts. These three leaders have to create a legacy for themselves, which is Putin, Xi Jinping, and Modi. They have to think something differently. Just remind you, the foreign policy of a country is dependent on two strategies. One is their security and one is their trade. But understand, nowadays the geopolitical conditions have changed. India and China are still going through which is mine and which is your land. Russia is having problem with Ukraine and it's not unjustified. And at the same time, the trade embargo and tariffs and other constraints are coming on these three countries. So this summit should look at these issues differently. What they should be talking is not about this is mine and this is your and here I can help you and here I cannot. You see, where India and China is concerned is very simple. The part of land claimed by China and disputed with India is there for centuries. The people who live in those parts which are being claimed by China for a long time, basically those people are very close to South China people. Their traditions, their culture is very same. And they have said in their private thoughts, these people in Manipur and Northeast Asia, India, have said privately also, and they say it. We are basically Chinese. We'll go to China. But we will not, because China is authoritarian communist rule. We don't want to be there. But if it becomes democratic country, although they don't like the corrupt politicians of India, we will stay in India. But if China becomes democratic, we will go. We will be part of them. Both the countries, which is China and India, should understand that fight on this is not going to help anything. Both the countries are very strong, where the armed and forces and everything nuclear power is concerned. They both will destroy each other and create a havoc for the world. They should live anyway. We are not going to talk about it, but leave it. Whoever has got remains with that party. If they can live with this sense, then this summit, the Shanghai summit, which is happening now, can create world change. All they have to do is to talk and agree to create our Asian Union, which includes the three big powers, which is Russia, India, and China, all Southeast Asia up to Philippines, and to the west up to Saudi Arabia. All of that land, which is Asia, should become one union. This will have multiple benefits. First of all, the conflicts between each country, like China, India, Iran, and Saudi, and Yemen, and all these conflicts will be resolved easily with understanding of the trade benefits and open trade benefits. That is what is required. They can prosper, their populations can prosper, can live happily with the productions of each other, supplementing the country which can not do much. This is what has to be thought and should be considered in this summit. If they can create this Asian Union, it automatically BRICS, which is other two big countries, South Africa and Brazil, will support it because they are part of the BRIC. And these three countries are already thinking, are planning, and are doing currency, which is not US dollars. Europe will automatically come in support because Europe is under serious pressure, is being blackmailed by US at the moment. So, Putin, Xi Jinping, and Modi, create a legacy of yours. Create Asian Union. Do that. Please think about it. Thank you.